All right, I'm going to walk you through how to use Nearpod to add in activities for your lessons so that with a regular PowerPoint, your kids can still be engaged in the content and kind of add in some breaks. So when I get here, I can go to create and move my thing there. Just hit lesson. It gives the opportunity to dump in your PowerPoint, and then from there, you can start adding activities. So I already dumped in, here's a social studies one, and I actually already have some questions already put in here. But you get this slide, add content and activities. You can add in movies and stuff like that. That's not what I've done or necessarily exactly how I would use it, but you certainly can do that. Time to climb gives you the opportunity to ask some questions where they're multiple questions, trying to climb to the top of the mountain if they get them all right. They can collaborate, they can draw, they can take a poll, which I think is my favorite one. If you have a lot of vocab, some matching pairs or memory test are good. You could potentially use the quiz. I'll show you how we use the open-ended question here too, but you have those options, and if you did pick one of those, it would just give you a slide, and actually what it does is it dumps it down here at the bottom, so you have to drag it into place. But here's my open-ended question that I have put in. If I can open it up. And so I wanted them to stop before we got into specifics of what happened and who had these different plans for Reconstruction after the Civil War. I wanted them to come up with a plan on their own. So in a group of three, how are you going to deal with loyalty, infrastructure, united the country, slavery? I am giving them 3 minutes. I set my 3-minute timer there so that they have a chance to come up with their own opinions on it. And they can dump that response in, and you can look at it and kind of extend conversation based on what people have suggested, so that then you can kind of compare Lincoln's plan and the radical Republicans and then Johnson's plan later on. Okay, so then I wanted to take a poll a few slides later after we looked at Lincoln's plan and say, would it have unified the country with protection for the freed slaves and had an acceptable amount of punishment for the South? Do they strongly agree, somewhat agree, somewhat agree, somewhat disagree, and strongly disagree? So the kids would just be able to put that in. Again, you can extend the conversation there by saying, all right, who had strongly or one way or the other? Tell me why you did. I have the exact same poll just with radical Republicans for their plan right there. I could have done it later on because there's more plans here. I get into a lot of terms in here. So for my matching pairs, I just created, I think, 5 questions here. So when the kids look at this, here's my pairs, but when they get this, these tiles will all be kind of mixed together, and they have to click on one and go and find the definition, okay? So it's giving me the editing here as if I'm the teacher putting together another pair. So I could add a pair, term on one side, definition on the other. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do any additions right now. And then at the end, I put time to climb, which is our chance to ask a few questions, give the kids chance to check where they're at, and then physically, I think they move up the side over here somewhere with climbing to the top if they get 3 out of 3, right? Okay, so like any other service, question, answer, I indicate what the correct answer is, and you can kind of change those, whether they have 3 answers or 4 or whatever, okay? So as students answer that, it's your way to kind of check and see where kids are at. If there's a misunderstanding, you can go back and correct it because it will give you that feedback. But that's Nearpod. It does give you a nice way to add in a few of those activities in the middle of a PowerPoint, just to make sure that your students stay engaged, and maybe you can get a sense of where they're at. If they're being asked to respond, to polls or quizzes or whatever, then they're more likely to be engaged, and because they know they have to do something with the material that they're covered. So it's a nice little tool.